Hey guys, Fire here, and thanks for joining me today as I cover my top 5 ID and Xbox games that came out during the month of July. Now, full disclosure, this list is not in any particular order. This is just the 5 top games I had the most fun joining. Doesn't really matter graphics, depth, length of play, any of that. These are just the 5 that I had the most fun playing and getting to experience with along the way. I would love to know down below in the comments what your top ID and Xbox games you got to play during July is, and if you like this series, let me know so I know to continue doing it. However, or other top 5 ideas. Outside of that, without further ado, let's start off with the first game on my list. Okay, so the first game on my list is Paper IO 2. This game is currently available in the Xbox Store for a price starting at $5, and it's unfortunately, it's a single-player game. It would be so much better if it had online multiplayer, but it's kind of like those .io games you saw in browser histories that started a while back that became pretty popular, and you're just going around capturing overwatch territories and just having a lot of fun. And for me, that's one of the reasons I really enjoy these games, is they're just super energetic. There's a ton of content to unlock in here, and it kind of just triggered a part in me that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, and then I just kept playing it over and over. There's a massive amount of content within this game, and a lot that you can do, from cosmetic things to exploring and playing all the different maps, which are coolly designed around locations in the world, which I think is 100% cool on that note alone, and it's really neat to get to kind of just play and experience the game and kind of learn a little bit about geography. I think it was just kind of a neat overall package, and that's why it makes it into my top 5. Without further ado, let's move into number 4. Okay, I think number 4 kind of goes without saying. I've gotten to cover the past couple games in the series, but Hidden Cats in Rome. It's just a fun, relaxing puzzle game that you can get for $4 and usually on sale for all of these. So they're basically seek and find games where you're looking for cats based on the area you get to play the game in. So I believe Paris, and then one other location was around, and you just get to kind of relax, but also kind of get to see some of the designs of how those areas might be throughout the world. They feature usually one big puzzle, and then different variations of harder puzzles, and then some smaller ones that all kind of just piece together to be just an overall relaxing and enjoyable experience, as well as chances to find some cool hidden special cats and other things along the way. I love how it's almost like a color book design and style as you find the cats, and it paints the world for you, and it's just a neat little game. Like, everybody needs those chill, relaxing games, and for me, this is where the Hidden Cats games just tick the right boxes of just having some fun and being able to enjoy them, and just get to ignore everything else and just relax, get out of the big action swing of games and just have some fun and nice relaxing game. And that's why Hidden Cats in Rome takes the box for me as just a really fun and enjoyable game. Without further ado, let's move on to number 3. Okay, I think it goes without saying that Super Wooden GP2 takes everything from Super GP Wooden or Super Wooden GP, I always get the name wrong, and just makes it a little bit better and adds some more content here. The game starts at $13, and you can usually find it on sale, and it's a really fun, just side to top-down perspective arcade racer that it's just done really well. I love the visual aesthetics of how they do the cars, give you a ton of world-like design tracks and just a lot of content within the game. You get a lot of different modes with this one, from rallies to races to tournaments and everything, and it's just done in a really great package. Driving in the game feels super fluid. The amount of content in the game you can unlock, from skins and a ridiculous amount of cars, all just kind of work to give you something that, for the price, it's just a ridiculous package of content that just kind of gives you it's not limitless, but just a lot to do and a lot to have fun with while riding around in these cars, visiting the different tracks, and kind of traversing around the world. I can't really say too many bad things about the game. For me, it's just The worst thing about the game is it's just an overwhelming amount of good content, and that's honestly something that is great for the game. I love every aspect about this game, and I think it's just done in a package that comes across extremely well and just builds on something that you can just have a lot of fun with. The best thing for me is just the controls in the game are so well done. It's easy to pick up and play, and anybody I think can have a blast with the game. Without further ado, let's move on to number 2. Okay, and number 2 has to be Toia. What I really love about this game is just the atmospherically open world gameplay that this game has to offer, with beautiful visual graphics. Just gives a presentation of just a well done and well designed game. I will say, I can't show you a trailer, but I'm going to kind of navigate through the store page. The game is available via Xbox Game Pass, so what's really cool is if you don't want to buy it and you have Game Pass, and you can check it out for yourself. It's a game that has a lot of praise from people. If you go read the comments, there's a lot of positive stuff. There's even some customization stuff in the game, but it's just a really beautiful and well-designed game. I love the story that it teaches, and it also hits on some marks where you're going to have a lot of ups and downs emotionally, build some connections, but also just have a good bit of time while playing the game. I think it's an awesome game, and one that anybody who has Game Pass should definitely consider picking up and checking out. It's awesome to see some of these ID and Xbox titles hit Game Pass and be able to give people a chance to play them there as well. It's a fun action adventure game with, I love this game takes on like different, interpretations of what we normally get. Characters in a lot of games are, predominantly like Caucasian or white, and this goes into different ethnicities and gives you different like kind of heritageable backgrounds and things that you might not necessarily see most other games even wanted to tackle or challenge, and it's done in a really well done story, and I think that's why Toia is a perfect game for anybody looking for a good ID at Xbox title, or if you have Xbox Game Pass. Without further ado, let's move on to the last game on my list. Okay, and the last game on my list for my top 5 ID and Xbox titles that came out during the month of July is the Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's a really fun action adventure game that gives you the opportunity to explore dungeons, solve puzzles, and just have a lot of fun in a really beautifully designed and artistic style of a game. It's kind of got a little bit of a slower start, but it allows you to pick up and get into some fun engagements. You'll get to have some cool boss fights, and it kind of, I know it's not the same art style, but it gives me a very like Borderlands vibe. It's a game that might not necessarily seem massive or giant from the start, but kind of expands on a pretty good world as you build relationships with everybody and kind of explore throughout the game. The only real gripe I have for the game is there isn't really a lot of, there's no narration, which I think would put this game to a ridiculously high point on anybody's list, but when it lacks in that, it just gives you solid, good gameplay, well done map design, puzzles, and all kinds of encounters and enemies that you can fight and explore with along the way. I love just the overall atmosphere of the game. It also is a bonus that it is part of Xbox Game Pass, so if you don't want to spend the money, you can still check it out that way. I think Dungeons of Hinterberg is just, it's a solid package and a pretty fun game that I think anybody who is a fan of ID and Xbox titles should consider checking out. It's not got a lot of negative stuff for it. It's got mostly positive impacts in my opinion, and I think it's just an overall great, well-designed game. Like I said, the biggest thing I would love to see is just some narration packs out or some type of DLC to give voiceover in the game, but that's fine. I think that's what I kind of talked about even in the video when I played. But yeah, that is my top 5, or not necessarily in any order, or like the games that stood out the most for me during the month of July. I'd love to know what your top 5 ID and Xbox titles are, or even like your top 5 games that you're playing right now. Let me know down below in the comments. If you're new here, thanks for checking out my channel, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Outside of that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you next time.